Hey, how y'all doing? This Rick Sincere with MTMV Sports, y'all, and I'm so blessed to be here with you today. We had a chance to cover the Celebration Bowl, and it was incredible. The HBCU Super Bowl really played out just like the executive director, John Grant, wanted it to, right? It was a big-time bowl game. It had all kind of storylines. We were on the field at the end of the game, the first time ever for us being on the field at the end of a big time bowl game. And we're walking around with the camera trying to capture everything that we could. And while I was there, I saw two things. One, I saw Jackson State, crying, going through it. They let something slip through their fingers. But on the other side, I saw overwhelming joy. And it's the type of joy that comes with overcoming things. And overcoming what? Overcoming obstacles, overcoming doubt, overcoming all of the haters, right? Overcoming all of that stuff. And they talked about it.
Back against the wall, what you gonna do? They ain't believing us. But God did. But God did. But God did. Let's go.
Right? They grabbed each other and be like, they doubted us. They didn't believe in us, but we believe, right? They did that. And Coach, at the end of the post-game press conference, Coach Trey Oliver came out and he basically laid out how they were disrespected over the course of that weekend.
The disrespect was real since we've been down here. We come to the press conference, and many of you were here last week. Their athletic director addressed us as North Carolina A&T State University. I mean, come on.
They were disrespected over the course of the weekend. But they took all that stuff, right? Took all of that and really bottled it up and basically walked into that game with everything that they needed and then walked out as champions. This reminds me of a Bible story. It's the classic one, David versus Goliath. And why do I go there? Because it was a clear situation of a whole entire, people being disrespected, being doubted, right? But at the end of the day, having to go into battle and really, either die in battle or be victorious. And that's basically what happened over the course of this weekend. When we watched that game, that's how it played out, right? So David versus Goliath. And so for you, how does it translate, right? How does what happened there translate to you? Well, I want to give you some steps or some tips or some tools for overcoming major obstacles. So how do I overcome major things? Or how do I overcome? Because there's an overwhelming joy associated with overcoming ridiculous odds, right? And so the first thing is you fuel up, right? Now, granted, going into battle, and why did I say overwhelming odds? Because Jackson State had all kind of stuff. They had Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Aubrey Miller, Deion Sanders, all the hype, right? And on top of that, David going into battle, who's he fighting? 9 foot tall Goliath, right? He's going into battle with somebody who's been in battle for mad long. This ain't his first rodeo. He has bronze, a suit on of armor with 125 pounds worth of bronze on, right? And he's talking reckless, which sounds like everything that Jackson State did. Anyway, so North Carolina Central going into battle, right? You got to fuel up. First thing, you going into a battle in your life, fuel up. So what do I mean by that? I mean that when it's time, even David going into his battle with Goliath had to gather his stones, right? He had to go and gather stones, get his material up, fuel up for this battle. I would say the same for you. How can I fuel up? Well, you can fuel up in this way if you've faced any obstacles. All the obstacles that you've faced in your past, that kind of stuff, you can use that as fuel. In the Bible, there was a story of Joseph who had been through a lot of stuff. In Genesis chapter 50, verse 20, he says this, right? To the people who had sold him into slavery, the people who would basically, cast him to the side. He said this. He said, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." So what does that mean? It basically looks like this: hey, you've been through some stuff in your life, and the stuff in your life, you can either have it like destroy you, or you can flip that thing and have it fuel you into your next battle, right? It's so funny because it was Deion even said it to the guy I think who dropped that pass at the end.
That moment is gonna make you who you want to be.
It's like, he said, look, this can either make or break you, right? Like, this is going to turn you into who you want to be later on. And we'll see how that story plays out. But you can use that stuff in your past to fuel you and to give you what you need to go into this next phase. Second, be confident. And why should I be confident? I'm going into a situation, I'm going into a battle that I've never faced before. But this ain't your first battle in life, right? This ain't the first thing that God's brought you through. This isn't the first thing you've dealt with. And so David, going into this battle with Goliath, said, hey, I fought the lion and the bear, and I've defeated them both. And this Philistine, or this unhealthy, or whatever you call it, this uncircumcised guy, right? He is going to be like one of them. He'll fall just like one of them. And he had that type of confidence because he had been in battle. You've been in battle too. You've been in battle before. Whether you realize it or not, I want you to reflect, go back. You've been in battles before, and God has pulled you out of those battles. God has pulled you out of those battles and brought you to where you are right now. Can you overcome this next thing? Yes, you can. How do I know I can? Why am I confident that I can? Because I know that God has brought me out before. And if God's brought me out before, I'm confident he'll bring me out again. Am I confident in my ability? No, I'm nobody. But God has the ability to bring me out. My trust is in him. And so lastly, what do? You use the fuel and the confidence, right? You bring that with you to the battle. Use the confidence, use the fuel to go to the field and show up and show out. Now, in this story, right, at some point, you gather up your stones. You still gotta, go to the field. The battle's not done yet just because you got your fuel. You got to go into battle. And so he gathered up his stones. But after he gathered up his stones, he then goes to the battlefield. As Goliath gets to the battlefield, he's ready, right? He's confident. So he's going to run up to the battlefield. For David, right? When Goliath approaches the line, David has the opportunity at that point. Because they talked all this stuff. All right, David had basically, talked about his confidence in God, talked about his belief in God, right? He had his confidence up and all that kind of stuff. He had his stones, whatever, right? But at that moment when Goliath is running towards the line, David could have ran the other way. This would have been a completely different story, right? But instead of running away from the issue, and how many times do we take the out, run away from the situation, run away from the issue, right? Hide, duck. No. David didn't run. He showed up. He showed up. And when he showed up, he did battle. As Goliath moved closer to David, David ran towards the battle lines to meet him. Reaching in his bag, taking out his stones, right? He slung it and struck the Philistine in the forehead. And then he hit him in the forehead, sunk in, and then boom, right? He dies. Everybody know the rest of the story. Cut his head off, died out, whatever, right? All that stuff. But at the end of the day, he showed up to the battle. So what am I saying? I'm saying don't run. Show up to the battle. If God's put you in a particular situation or a season in your life, he wants you to show up to the battle. He wants you to show up. And he'll use your victories to show other people what they can do. Just like when people need inspiration, they go to this story, right? How many times have people went to other people's story of overcoming and used that to help them to overcome? How many times? Your story, the thing that you're going through right now, could be used for fuel for somebody else. So whatever it takes, fuel up. After you fuel up, be confident, not in you, but be confident in God. And lastly, right, show up to the battle and show out. Y'all, it's been an incredible year for MTMV. This time last year, we didn't have 2,000 subscribers. And we're so blessed for that, to be honest with y'all. I can't lie to y'all. Like, even going to YouTube, I doubted it. I didn't know what to do or how to do this, to be honest with you. But God has been so faithful. So from this time last year to right now, God has grown our channel. He's grown our team. Right now we have interns. So I'm thankful to God for our interns. I'm thankful to God for our team, because our team, man, they're so good. They're so grounded, right? And they work weekly, right, to bring people, sports news and their thoughts on the sports news. Like, it's so great what God is doing right now for MTMV. But at the end of the day, we're all basically focused on, one big thing, and that's to bring you great sports stories, but also to tell you about the God who has done so much incredible stuff for us. We're so thankful for all the opportunities that get opened up for us to go and cover sports. But because opportunities get open for us, we want to offer opportunities. And that's why we have interns. Not just so we can get our work done, but because we want to let them know about some principles in sports journalism. And sports journalism wasn't my major, so I have to reach out to others who are into the field, who know, what's going on with sports journalism, and I try to bring them before our interns, bring them before our team. So as we try to do stuff in excellence, man, we're humble in the approach. So we're going to listen to what the experts do and what they're trying to get done. We want to open up opportunities for students to learn from the people who we've learned from, or even learn some of the stuff that we've learned. We want to give opportunities to more interns, right? We really want to do that. And why do we want to do that? Because opportunities were given to us. So we want to open up more doors. So if you want to help out with that, you can, right? You can always give. But if you just want to, hey, somebody who loves sports journalism, somebody and listen, we don't curse on our channel, all that kind of stuff. So if you bring in somebody to us, make sure they're right. But if they come right in the right spirit, if you know somebody who loves sports journalism and they want an opportunity, we'll put our email down at the bottom. You can reach out to us for opportunities and stuff like that. So you can either donate or you can, send people to us. We're just trying to get things done and trying to work in excellence. So we thank you for watching our channel. We thank you for subscribing, and we hope that we're giving you the type of coverage you want. If we're not, we see your comments, so just drop some below. We don't like this content. That's fine. We'll listen. But we love you, and we thank you, and we appreciate you. And without you, a lot of stuff can't happen. God bless you. We love you. We hope that you have a phenomenal day. We out.